So, this entire journey in this text is a dialogue between the master and the student, seeker. The seeker, he is a perfect seeker. He is a king. He manages the entire kingdom. And at the same time, he is a seeker. So you see that we should get rid of that idea that, oh, I'm busy, I've been doing this work, can I meditate? So that question is unfounded in any state. If you are a human being, you can, you can. So the seeker wanted to confirm. He has read all the text, he has done practices with the many masters, so he understands the importance. So in the first chapter, he asks how the dispassion can be attained. So dispassion is in the middle, discernment is the first step. So both are included. Second, how the knowledge of the real self can be attained. Knowledge of the reality, knowledge of who am I. But if my mind is totally obsessed with to eat, drink, and be merry, I will not ask this question that who am I? No, there is no need. No, no, I know, I know. I have a wonderful uh, student who has been doing the private sessions. So recently it happened that he had some engagement and he wrote to me that, do you see that I have already explained my engagement? I'm so busy. So let us drop and we will meet in the future. So I know. I don't say anything. Why should I say? Are you a seeker? No. So there is no need to say anything. So our tradition is totally different in that respect. And the third question is in the first chapter is how the freedom can be it. I enjoy the freedom in eat, drink, and be merry. So I'm not seeking any other kind of a freedom. So that is why that is the answer of question Stephen asked. That why not many people join? No need. Because my perception of happiness is outside. I don't want to listen anything. That is it. So then there is no journey. So that is why our tradition says, are you a seeker? So in the first chapter, this master explains to a seeker that here is the real self, which is self-existent, independent of anything outside in the world. It is pure consciousness. So because he is the highest seeker, in the second chapter, he explained just by listening what happened to him, how he gained his experiences. But the master doesn't leave him. He says he talks about the third chapter. He raises a lot of doubt. Knowledge is knowledge, truth is truth. Whether you raise 100 doubts or you don't have any doubt. So the third chapter, the Astavakra wanted to testify. He is the master. So in the fourth chapter, then we come, fourth chapter again. The master explains this is the way, this is what happens. Your perception of the world outside changes. One example, the waves and the water. When the water is calm, where the wave has gone? Where the waves have gone. We see the shape in the size of a tumbler made from the glass. So you break the tumbler. Where the shape of the tumbler has gone, does it really exist or it appears to exist? That is the main point to contemplate and reflect. Why I said so? I see this house is built in the space, demolished in the space. So, where this shape and the size of the house has gone? Because it did not exist in the first instant, it appears to exist, and what appears to exist is not truth, is not the real self. Huh? Majority of you are married, even single. Does so now. Where is the husband in a man? Where is the wife in women? So when we go deeper, we understand this name and the form has created the entire world. Are you getting it? Name in the form. Name in the form. Giri, Stephen, Sam, Ashok, Samir, Brandy. Name in the form has created the world. Go a little deeper. What is behind the name and the form? It is the same matter. In the body, it is the same carbohydrate, protein, uh, amino acids, fat, some minerals. Have you seen the kids? When they go to sea beach through the sand, they create lot of shapes and sizes, and the water wave comes, gone. That is what is body. So when we identify with the body, then we suffer. So he concluded in the fourth chapter that in order to experience or discover the real self, we have to go behind our perception. Perception doesn't only, I'm not talking the perception through the eyes. Whenever you open your eyes, you see the name and the form. Perception deep inside, guided by the discernment and dispassion. You are aware that this world of the name and the form appears, disappears, appear and disappear. Hence, this is false. False does not mean that you say, okay, now I'm done with you. So you are creating another falsehood. So then in the fifth chapter, this master explains at a very higher level, there are four methods. First method, in the first verse, a complete dispassion awakens. He says, when you are living in a complete dispassion inside, then what happens? Your mind goes out with all the sense organs, but you are aware. That is what the perception is. You maintain an awareness of what? Not me and mine. Not attached. Attachment is building a relationship. In the second, he says, when you see the entire world is nothing but The waves appear and disappear. Just take an example 150 years, my forefathers, one wave disappeared. Then my parents appeared, disappeared. Now this guy appeared, disappeared. What is behind this appearance and disappearance is real self. So that is what in the second verse, if you live into that state of awareness, then you are able to see the reality. And that reality, we already know it. I have been asking that question. You should ask that question to yourself at least a couple of times every day. Do you love peace? Yes. Why? Because peace is my nature. So whenever you are in stress, first thing to ask that do you love stress? No. So drop all the thoughts related to the stress first. That is the way. Now we understood that in the first method is a complete dispassion. When we were born for at least 2 or 3 years, we live in complete dispassion. What is the result? That's why we are spontaneous. The kids are very spontaneous, natural. We forget that. How we forget? Go back, start learning. Me and mine has come. That me and mine is nothing but attachment. So the first method is complete dispassion. Second is perception. I must change the perception, this word. Now, the third method, in the third verse, he says the highest discernment leads to dispassion, and dispassion leads to awakening. Whether you can start the journey with dispassion, whether you analyze the cause and effect of the world. There is a tumbler. What is the cause of the tumbler? What is the cause of the shape and the size? Does this shape and the size is inherent in the glass? No. See that. Does the shape and the size of this body is inherent in the protein? Fat? Fact. We are not talking of any imagination, hallucination. We are talking of the facts. Does this body really dies? Take an example that, this body died. What happens? In any tradition, you burn it or you bury it. They go into the earth. Have you heard about nitrogen cycle, phosphorus cycle, oxygen cycle from the science? So the bone here has created a phosphorus cycle, and who knows, the phosphorus here or the will go into another living being. So we are not the children of only one physical parents. In this body, more than 40 more people has contributed, and this cycle continues. So am I this cycle or not? Answer is no. So you go by any philosophy. Cause and effect, that was the second. So in the third now, he says discernment. So what he says, even I see different names in form. Even I see the blueness of a sky Even if I see the waves in the water, even if I see the world, beautiful world of name and the form and different labels, when we investigate, when we perceive clearly, we inquire the real nature of the universe. And behind that universe, the cause is the real self. And that real self is pure consciousness. That is the ultimate result of meditation. So, ultimate, highest discernment leads to awakening to our true nature. Ask the next question. Do you know and practice discernment 24 by 7? If we practice discernment 24 by 7 or in a waking state, you will be a different person the next day. What is that different person? You wake up in calmness. Now it is 10 p.m. You will sleep in calmness. Discernment is what we understood by the discernment. Discernment does not destroy the world. Because it is false, it appears and disappears. Discernment gives you a clarity of perception. What is that clarity? I filtered out. That is neighbor's house. This is my house. I have been repeating it. That is false and this is me. Do you stop driving? You are driving on a highways and your eyes perceive the trees are moving behind, the highways is moving. Do you stop driving? Do you have any allergy to the highways? Oh, no, no, I see that, highways are moving when I'm driving. No. You put the false in its own place. You do not allow the false to distort your perception. Then what happens? That real self comes in front in the mind. It lives there, and you are in peace and happiness. This is what the real object of meditation. The false is still seen. The blueness of the sky is still seen. Huh? Blueness of a sky is still seen. What is left? The reality is left. And what is that reality? That reality is peace and happiness. This is what the Master is saying. You see that? I have told you a couple of times, so let me again repeat you. There was a great master. There was a great master, Yajnavalkya. We have to yet to start this Upanishad learning in our Mondays and Thursdays session. They are the cream, the gem of the teaching. But we are preparing ourselves. So Yajnavalkya was a great master. He contributed great literature. Perhaps those people who know or who are teachers in the field of yoga, Yajnavalkya contributed the Eightfold Path, and from there the Patanjali explained this sutra. Anyhow, he was lucky he had two wives. In our literature, to make you understand, one woman had five husbands also in our literature. The message is different. So, they are more, I would say, the symbolic. So don't go by the standard in the world. So Yajnavalkya had two wives, Maitreyi and Gargi. He was a minister in the king, and he was He had a tremendous recognition. He had a tremendous wealth. After 20 years, Yajnavalkya was a master, so he was awakened. He wanted to reaffirm that the state I'm living is testified, validated by our teachings. So he called both his wives. He said, "Here is a wealth. I have divided half, and half goes to you, Gargi, and half goes to Maitreyi." Two wives. What is discernment? I'm talking about what is discernment. In every activity, in every activity of life, I should allow the discernment to work. So, anyhow, Gargi was very happy. She was guided, oh, eat, drink, and be merry. She said that at least, now I have a liberty to spend the wealth as I like. Now, you see where the discernment starts? Maitreyi started thinking in her mind that how my honey wants to leave the kingdom and wants to go to the forest. For what? He owns everything. He has recognition like Bill Gates. He has everything. He has the wealth. But why? Where he is going? And he is wise. He is not insane that, he just, took a decision to go into the forest. This starts the discernment. I'm living my life. Okay. According to the social standard, I'm married, I have kids, I have a good job. That is what we don't think about. Oh, I have everything. Question is, do I have a total peace and happiness in my life? Maitreyi, the second wife, she she gave the entire wealth without asking her husband to the first wife, Gargi. You see the discernment? What is that discernment? That when my husband, who is so wise, who is guiding the king, is leaving the entire wealth, it means he is in search of something greater than what he already possesses. There is something greater than my body. There is something greater than my breath, my mind, my perception, my knowledge. You see the process of discernment. So, third method, he said the highest level of discernment can lead you to awakening here and now. You are suffering, you apply discernment. So, what will happen? It will become suffering yoga. Now you are applying yoga. Understand that point. You are in anxiety, you apply discernment, it becomes anxiety yoga. And when you have added yoga, you know that you will get rid of it. So ultimately, there is a long dialogue, and that is recorded in the Yajnavalkya Smriti. The text is known as a long text. Why you are leaving? You have everything. The Maitreyi asked, because now Maitreyi is asking a question. You have everything. Why you are leaving? Why you have divided and give us the wealth? So highest level of discernment has to be there. It must start with a question. It should not start with a blind belief. I don't want to name, but yes, I will go. I'll narrate a real life story. So I had a very humble house in Delhi in those days. So his so I had one student who has a very good center in India, very good in terms of the wealth. So whose father was a billionaire. So who came and to pay respect that yes, sir, you guided my daughter. So how much money I can give you? I'm telling you the true story. I said that everything is okay, but go back to your house and find out how much extra you have. From that extra, I will take a pie out of it. I've already told you he's a billionaire. Now he's no more. So he returned after a week. He was very thoughtful because you cannot be a billionaire if you don't have an intellect. You know how to earn the wealth, how to accumulate it. So he was very honest. He said, I contemplated and reflected, and my mind says I don't have any extra penny. So I said, then you are a beggar. How can you pay me? You don't have anything. What is this? I'm extremely attached to the wealth. We know in our profession, we understand. We have also undergone the same process of the mind, same thing. Someday I was also feeling, why should I give you? Not now. I said, no, you are a beggar. You cannot pay me. And it is better not to pay. So you understand when you question that I am attached to the wealth, but the wealth is not attached to me. That is the main point. I am attached to the body, but body is not attached to me. Body will leave me one day. It's one-way traffic. And that one-way traffic causes a lot of problem and the challenges in my life. I'm not seeking the truth. I'm attached to one shape, one label. Go back. The world is nothing but world is world of name and the form. Name, form. The form is not permanent. Name is not permanent. Waves are not permanent. Blueness of the sky is not permanent. The shape and the size of a tumbler is not permanent. Shape and size of this body is not permanent. So what is permanent is that consciousness. So once I live into that perception, you live into that perception even for 1 hour. Your mind will say, where is the anxiety? Where is the stress? Where is the duality? But I have to think. I have given you an idea and understanding how the Maitreyi started thinking. Gargi was also thinking. Gargi said, thank you. Thank you, Maitreyi. You have given your wealth also to me. See the ways of thinking. Last point is very important. The entire Eastern wisdom gives you a knowledge how to think properly to reach to a discernment, and that discernment leads you to awakening. It changes the way you think. The thinking gives you the sense of attachment. The thinking gives you the discernment. My master used to say, vichar, vichar, vichar. Those people who have met my master. So he used to say, in Hindi it is known as vichar. Swami Lakshman Das Tulsi. He used to say vichar, vichar, vichar. So if I do not think inside what exactly is the goal or purpose of my life, second is that how to attain that goal of my life is to live into that permanent peace and happiness. How to attain that? To attain that, I have to become a seeker, discernment, dispassion. The moment we start thinking in a direction our masters are saying, there is no problem in life. I believe I made something clear to you.